Hello students, myself Suresh VS. Welcome back to my channel. I am here to start a new chapter from your textbook Hornbill. The title of the lesson is Landscape of the Soul, written by Natalie Trevorrow. See, in this chapter, the writer is talking about different forms of art. The art form of China and the art form of Europe. And these art forms have been compared by the writer. Okay, so let us go through the lesson. A wonderful old tale means story. There is a very interesting, wonderful story about the painter. His name was Wu Daozi. You might have learned about Daoism in social science. So there is a wonderful story about, a very interesting story about a painter called Wu Daozi, who lived in the 8th century. So in which century? 8th century. He lived in the 8th century. And what was his last painting? His last painting, that was a landscape. How did he draw this landscape? Because he was commissioned, or he was ordered or commanded by a ruler named Xuanzong. That means the Tang Emperor Xuanzong commissioned him or commanded him or placed him an order to draw a landscape for him. So he had drawn a beautiful landscape. That was his last painting. And what was the purpose of drawing this painting? He was asked to draw this painting to decorate a palace wall. In order to decorate the wall of the palace, he was asked to draw a beautiful picture of landscape. The master had hidden his work behind a screen, so only the emperor would see it. So what did he do? The master, that means the painter, Wu Daozi, he had hidden the painting behind a curtain. So only the emperor could see it. Others could not see the painting. So only the emperor could see it. For a long while, the emperor admired the wonderful scene. You see that for a long while, for a long time, the emperor admired it. He praised it, what a painting it is. He praised the painting. The painting, why? Because of its wonderful scene. Discovering forest. Discovering forest means uncovering forest. High mountains, waterfalls, clouds floating in an immense sky. Immense means a huge sky. Men on hilly paths. There were some men on hilly paths, means mountain paths, mountain way. Birds in flight. The pictures of birds flying. All these things were included in the landscape. That's the landscape we usually draw. When we are asked to draw something, immediately we will draw landscape. And we will try to include all these things. Okay? So with all this, you see that it was a very beautiful picture. So the emperor, he used to admire this painting for a long time. Look, sir, said the painter, in this cave at the foot of the mountain dwells a spirit. So one day, the painter told to emperor, so dear lord, you just see here, a cave was there in the painting, and just in the foot of the hill, you look at this cave, there dwells a spirit. A spirit is staying there. The painter clapped his hands and the entrance to the cave opened. And after telling this, you see that he clapped his hands. Immediately, the door of the cave opened. And you see, the inside is splendid. Splendid means magnificent. The inside of the cave, when it opened, it was seen that it was magnificent, or very beautiful and very impressive. And beyond anything words can convey. Means with words it cannot be explained. Such a way it was really marvelous, beautiful. Please let me show your, majesty the way. Then the painter, Wu Daozi said, oh majesty, oh lord, let me show you the way. Okay, so he wanted to show the way to the emperor to get inside the cave. The painter entered the cave. You see that in the picture, the painter entered the cave, but the entrance closed behind him. But just before the emperor's entrance, the gate closed behind him. And not only that, and the astonished the emperor. Astonished means surprised. The emperor was really wondered, really surprised, could move or utter a word. He was unable to move from the place where he was standing, or he was not even able to speak a word, utter a word. That means he became speechless. And the painting had vanished from the wall. And by the time, just after the entry of the painter, you see that the painting had disappeared, vanished from the wall. There was no painting, as well as the painter was also disappeared. Not a trace of Vieux d'Avocy brush was left. There was not even a trace, a sign of the painting was there, and the artist was never seen again in the world. You see that Vieux d'Avocy was never seen anywhere in this world. What a beautiful story it is. Such stories played an important part in China's classical education. You know, classical means ancient, okay? Or we can say that ancient art. This type of stories play very important role in the classical art education, okay? The classical education of China. These types of stories, so many stories are there. And you see the books of Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of them. Who are these Confucius and Zhuangzi? They are the great thinkers and philosophers of China. And you see that the books of Confucius and Zhuangzi are filled with such stories, such wonderful stories. These are very helpful for the masters or for the teachers to guide their disciple. That is to guide their students, to teach their students in the right direction. That means in order to give the moral education and in order to give the proper education, right education or art education to the students, this type of stories, especially the moral valued stories, I helped them a lot. That means the teachers depends on these types of stories of Confucius and Zhuangzi to help to teach the students the moral values. They help the masters to guide his disciple in the right direction beyond the anecdote. You know, anecdote? An interesting story about a person is known as anecdote. Beyond this interesting story, you see that they are deeply revealing of the spirit. They are deeply disclosing or revealing the spirit or the mood, or we can say the attitude of art was considered. So how the art was considered there, how the art was treated there, what was the attitude towards the art. Okay, so that is explained or revealed or disclosed through this story. Contrast this story. That means just a different. Contrast means a different from. Okay, different from this story. There is another story. I know you are very interested to hear this story. Another famous one about a painter who would not draw the eye of a dragon he had painted for fear it would fly out of the painting. See, this is the story that the painter had drawn a dragon. At the end, he did not draw the eye. Why? Because he feared that the dragon would fly away from the canvas. Okay, so he did not draw the eye of the dragon. The fear that it would fly out of the painting. And with an old story from my native Flanders, you know, Flanders, that is a medieval country in Europe before. That means you can see that in the northern Europe. This country was there, now you cannot see. And the writer is talking about a story from his native Flanders, from his place, that I find most representative. And he says that the story that he is going to tell that is most representative, or we can say the typical or indicative story of Western painting. Now we are going to see some representative stories of Western painting. Okay? In 15th century, Antwerp, that's a city in northern Belgium. Okay, a city in northern Belgium. In 15th century Ireland, a master blacksmith called Quentin Matsys. Okay, a master blacksmith, blacksmith. His name was Quentin Mastiff. And Quentin Matsys fell in love with the painter's daughter. So he fell in love with the daughter of a painter. But he was a blacksmith. The father would not accept a son-in-law in such a profession. But father-in-law was not ready to accept him because he was just a blacksmith. But in the case of them, they belong to painter's family. So Quentin, what did he do? Quentin, the blacksmith, the young man, he sneaked into the painter's studio. That means without notice by anyone or secretly, he entered into the painter's studio and painted a fly on his latest panel. So in the latest canvas. So what did he do? He drew a fly, the picture of a fly. With such a delicate realism here means originality. And this fly that was drawn with such a quality of art, which makes it seem real. That is called the delicate realism. The quality of the art that makes it seem real. That means it look like a real fly. In such a way, he had drawn the picture of a fly. And what did the master painter do? He tried to swat it away before he realized what had happened. He tried to hit. He tried to strike it out. Okay? Strike hardly to remove the fly from the canvas. But because he thought that it was an original fly. But later on he understood that it was not an original fly. It was drawn by Quentin. So what did he do? Quentin was immediately admitted as an apprentice. Apprentice means trainer. So immediately he was admitted in his workshop as a painter, as a trainer, as a student or a disciple. And you see that he married his beloved and went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age. In this way, the blacksmith, he married the painter's daughter, and in this way you see that later on he became one of the most famous painters of that era. These two stories illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve. So here we have seen two forms of art. One is art form from China and another one from Europe. So what these two art forms are trying to achieve. Okay, so a perfect illusionistic likeness in Europe. In the case of a European art, we can say that the art is perfect. The European art that is perfect. Or we can say that it's like an illusion. Okay, the European art, it is like an illusion and which resembles something. Or we can say that a technique of using pictorial method in order to deceive the eyes of the viewer is used in a European painting. Okay, whereas the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia, whereas in the paintings of art forms of Asia, what was used? The essence of inner life. That means the indispensable quality, or we can say that the principal quality of inner life and spirit that is involved in the painting of Asia. Okay, there is a difference. That means in the case of European paintings, outer appearance that is important, or external appearance that is important. But in the case of the Asian painting, what is important? The internal or inner appearance that is important. In the Chinese story, the emperor commissions a painting. Already we have seen that. In the Chinese story, the commissioner, he appointed a painter in order to paint a landscape, and he appreciated. Okay, he admired it. He praised its outer appearance. He had seen only the outer appearance. But the artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. But the emperor was not able to understand the hidden meaning of it, inside beauty of the painting. The artist, he tried to, what did he do? He tried to make the emperor understand the importance of its inner beauty. It reveals to him the real beauty, okay, the true meaning of his work. The emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered, yes, he may rule over the territory only. But in the case of an artist, he knows what the way within. That means what is the meaning of the work, what is the meaning of the art, that only the artist know. Okay, let me show the way, the Tao. A word that means both the path or the meaning. Sorry, the method. So let me show the way. He had used this word. He said this word. Said this sentence. So with the Tao, a word that means both. It means that the path also, the method also. And the mysterious works of the universe. He is trying to show the mysterious, the strange work of this world, this universe. The painting is gone, but the artist has reached its goal. You see, painting has gone from there. But the artist, he has reached at his goal. That means he could achieve his goal. He could achieve his, beyond any material appearance. You see that? There was no material appearance. So beyond the material appearance, the artist could reach where at his goal. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view. So that is a difference. In the case of a classical, a Chinese painting, or we can say that art, it does not mean to reproduce an actual view. It is not showing the real view. The painting is not showing the real view, how it looks like, what it is, as it is. Okay, it's a representation of, actually it is a representation of artist thoughts. Is not showing the real view. As would a Western figurative painting. But in the case of the Western painting, it is a figurative painting. Figurative painting means it refers to the metamorphic representation of a piece of art. Okay, metamorphic representation of piece of art. And here the Western paintings which needs the eye of the viewers. Sorry, it is with the same like the viewer's view. So whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes, in the case of a European painter, he wanted to borrow his eyes for what? And look at a particular landscape exactly as he saw it. That's the case that if he has drawn a picture, so the European painter intends the viewer to see the picture how he had seen it. Same like, there won't be any difference. Whereas, so that means he can do it, he can look at it from a specific angle. So from a specific angle, how does the creator or the artist look at the picture the same way he wanted the viewer also see it. The Chinese painter does not choose a single point. But in the case of a European painter, he chooses a single point. But in the case of a Chinese painter, he does not choose a single point. His landscape is not a real one. That is the case. As I told you, so the landscape of the European, that is the true one. It resembles the same. It looks like the same. But in the case of a Chinese one, it's not a real one. And you can enter it from any point. From any place you can enter on this landscape. Then travel in it. Then you can travel in it. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down. So you are allowed to travel up and down through the painting. You can come back again in a leisurely movement. That means a leisurely movement, a relaxed movement of the viewer is allowed in the case of a Chinese painting. Okay, is possible in case of a Chinese painting. This is even more true in the case of a horizontal scroll. So the writer says that this is more true in the case of a horizontal scroll. Okay, so the scroll here means the movement. Then the scroll from one direction to another direction. That is a horizontal, the scroll. So this is even more true. Okay, action of slowly opening one section of the painting, then rolling it up to move on to the another. So while opening one section of the painting, automatically that leads to the another painting. From there it moves to another painting. This way it goes on. Then drawing and the dimension of time which is unknown in any other form of painting. And there you see that the Chinese painting, the dimension of time that is added. So while moving from one painting to another, what is there? The dimension of time that has been added. And this you could not see in any other paintings of the world. That you can see only in the Chinese painting. It also requires the active participation of the viewer. That's another importance. In the case of a Chinese painting, what is needed? The active participation of the viewer that is needed, and he will travel through the painting. A participation which is physical as well as mental. In there, we need the participation of physical as well as mental presence that is required in the case of a Chinese painting. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes. That's the case. He does not borrow your eyes. But in the case of a European painter, he wants to borrow your eyes. But the Chinese painter, he wants to borrow your, yes, not your, he wants you to enter with your mind. The landscape is an inner one. The landscape, that is an inner one. That is spiritual one. A spiritual and a conceptual space. That is something that is related with the abstract ideas than the factual ones. Okay, the Chinese painting, that is abstract one and compared to the factual or the representation. Okay, dear students, I hope all of you understood this part. We will discuss the second part of the lesson in the next video. So thank you for watching it. Please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.